I want to begin this video with the disassembly of my processor Jobo CPE2. As I discussed in the previous videos, because it's fully analog technology and doesn't really allow me to measure and cycle temperature in the bottles and in the measuring cylinders, in future I want to modify this device and make it more user-friendly and more modern. Inside the control box you have a motor which I more or less like, so it looks beefy and metallic. And if you just Google what inside the Yobo, usually it's a plastic gears, and I think it's for old version, which is Yobo, not the Plus. And you can split everything in the modules, so this for example is a temperature control module, and this is on-off switch. You have a power amp from the Infineon with a radiator, and relatively simple PCB with a one layer from one side. It has two additional small devices, which is crazy useful in this configuration of the device. So if you turn it on without water, it will overheat immediately and pop off the switch, so it makes it more safe because all construction is plastic. And this temperature control switch, as you can understand, completely not reliable in terms of cycling of temperature. So probably the device itself is quite precise, but in the same time the temperature lag between the bath and the control switch is crazy high. Just for fun, maybe in future I will make a logging of the temperature and compare temperature stability for whole bath and the different points inside the bath. This is old, reliable but crazy analog technology. But the purpose of this disassembly was to just check what is inside and how it looks like, because as you can understand, this device was made more than 20 years ago. And so far it's dry and the PCB looks nice and all the connectors looks fresh. So I can continue printing with this device without any problems and enjoy the process. With a large amount of water and adjustments of the temperature knob, you can get really precise temperature cycles inside the bath. I will make print from Venice, Italy. As you can understand from this series of videos, it's a lot of things changed. First of all, I fixed and recalibrate my color analyzer, and I also invest money in the Yobo development system. Two main points what I can admit: it became quiet in my darkroom and I can work without headphones. And only downside, because I'm filming for YouTube, I cannot listen music in the same time when I'm filming these videos. And at the same time, I'm not sure what is a monetization method for me is correct, so let's do it how it is at the moment and hoping for the best. First step in the printing, loading the negative and alignment of the scaling and the mask and create the focusing on top of the grain or clouds in my color film. This is Kodak Gold 200 on 35mm film with a 50mm Voigtlander f1.2 lens closed down to f11. I have a lot of sharpness and in the same time it's a bit overexposed, and I should get a lot of rich colors and sharpness in this picture. To make a calibration, I crop down the picture and crop down the sides of the frame and analyze results on aperture f11 with my color analyzer from Philips. If you do everything precisely and correct, the calibration results from the first time should produce good enough result, and probably in 90% of the time you don't need any corrections after this color calibration. I already finished up my black printing album, and this is second one, so I use it for notes and creating different types of marks and tape down the prints inside the journal. I store the Yobo drums and the Yobo system in the same tray, so it's quite easy to assemble what you need for development, and for now I need this drum with the extension and the cup lid on top. I start printing with the first test prints. It should be relatively small, but in the same time relatively large, because on this print I make a first decisions in which corrections I want to go. Development procedure is quite easy. I use gloves to not put the chemicals on my hands. And for development of paper, I start with 45 seconds of the color developer preheated to 35 degrees. Because all the chemicals is reusable up to 40 rotations for half a liter of solution in my case. After each development, I put it back inside the bottle and switch to the next chemical. You can mix a bit chemicals from left to right, from color developer to the bleach fix, but not in opposite direction. Next step is a stop bath for 15 seconds, and the final step is a bleach fix, and you additionally can wash it with the DI water, and this is my 4th bottle. Because it's a resin paper, I wash it directly in a drum, so I make a 1-minute washing solution with 2 different exchanges of water. And in the end, I have a free of chemicals paper and my drum is completely clean. Usually I apply squeegee on top of the paper to remove excess water and dry it with the air or with a hair dryer. I really like the color balance on this print, and it definitely looks like overexposed Kodak 200 gold. But probably for this particular print it's too much density, so I will decrease from 6 seconds to 5 seconds my exposure time and make one bigger exposure. Newton rings actually became a big problem for me if you print with a lot of sky in your pictures. And because I using dry shampoo, it's not really like small particles, and if you have big magnification you see these spots on the sky. So I call it technical defect, and it's better to just buy anti-Newton glass and avoid this problem altogether. In this system I can print up to 20 by 25 centimeters, so this is my standard size for all the prints. And nevertheless, it's almost limit what I can print with this enlarger if I don't want to project on a wall. As you can understand, this is not really scalable technology, and this is more manual art, and you need to appreciate the small volume, small size, and the arrangement of the picture itself. I also thinking about the rules, because this next print have a one defect which I don't really like, and sometimes I just forget to switch off all the things what I have in a darkroom. For example, if my camera is charging and my light is turned on and I forget this blue LED light, which I also discussed before, I have a strange tint on my pictures and I cannot understand really in which direction I need to make correction on this picture. But the quick answer, it's impossible, because if you're talking about this small LED which is shining on the picture for 10 seconds, it creates a color tint. It's not really shift of the picture itself, it's just a small deviation inside your negative. So I will fix small technical problems and make a reprint of this particular image with a 5 seconds on f11 with the almost symmetrical settings of 58-58-0. And usually if you fix all of the problems from the beginning and you don't make any mistakes, you can print right from the beginning the bigger prints and do not have any problems with the colors and with the exposure. And as you can see, this picture looks much better. Let's apply the squeegee, dry it up, and check the final result of my endeavors. As I always say, I don't really like the Kodak Portra 400. For me, it's too flat and it's more suitable for scanning or different types of digital manipulation with the film. Or you need to reprint it on the positive film and rescan it again with the same process as used in the movies. But with the old stocks of the film, like Kodak 800 or Kodak Gold, I have a good color, and as you can see here on these 3 pictures, this is exactly the same settings, but on the left one I have a strange tint, and on the right one I have no problems with the color and no problems with alignment. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next videos.